We're high tech.
This is way too high tech.
Yeah.
But so I work with food a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So Josh talked about how much you love food. And so where are you from and what's the background there? I missed it.
So I was born in Houston,
Okay.
but my mother is from Louisiana.
Okay.
And we
Ooh.
moved to Louisiana when I was in the third grade. Third
Okay.
through eighth grade, I lived in Louisiana. But I'm not from there.
Okay. But your taste buds have adjusted to
Yes.
there.
My taste buds enjoy there.
So what is your preferred favorite meal?
Probably jambalaya.
Oh, yeah.
Jambalaya.
I like gumbo, but real gumbo has to have the okra in it. And I don't like the
Ugh.
slimy okra.
Okay.
I don't like the slimy okra.
I'm
if it's
out
okra
on the
without
okra.
that.
What's
Then
your
I'm good.
dog's name?
My dog's name is Gumbo. So gumbo gets me like in the mood for Christmas. Like that's the winter. My family, that's what we always did is we're gonna have seafood gumbo for Christmas because everyone's sick of turkey, everyone's
Mhm.
sick of ham. I guess this is kind of a bad episode to talk about turkey and ham because this is the week, but this episode is the week before Thanksgiving. So
It's coming up.
it's coming up. Yeah. So we have a guest on the show today. Welcome to the Words with Wisdom podcast. We have Jamie Jones joining us today. Jamie, we're glad you're here.
Thanks for
Welcome.
having me.
The only way this could have been better is if you had brought jambalaya to the podcast.
It's not over.
True.
It's not over. There's still time.
There's still time.
There's still time. Maybe.
But so is there a particular sausage that you like to put in it? A particular brand?
There's only one brand.
Which is that's
It is Conecuh.
okay. So the Alabama Conecuh sausage.
Conecuh
Okay.
sausage is the brand. Now
I
someone
didn't know if
might.
there was something different in Louisiana, but
Well, there is. There's
working in
andouille.
Alabama,
Yeah.
Conecuh is the sausage.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the difference between you could have like original and it'd be spicier. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can go hickory and it'd be milder. So yeah, South Mississippi, it's the Conecuh.
Okay. Well,
So
we
if-
do the andouille.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna take it a step further. Okay. Something weird about my family. All right.
Mhm.
And my wife had to adjust to this the first time she came down at Thanksgiving, and we may lose viewership off of what I'm about to say. But my family, we actually put the potato salad. We have mayonnaise potato salad. We put it in the gumbo.
Really?
And the combination, I know, just hang with me. The combination is perfect. Instead of rice, do potato salad. Try it. It could change your life.
So when it
Okay.
gets cold and you get towards that time of year in the South, you think of gumbo.
Mm-hmm.
When I grew up north, it was chili.
That's what's wrong with you.
So, but chili's not a thing in.
You put beans in the chili, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. See what we're dealing
But
with
you
here?
would like this. It'd be a nice venison chili.
That would
Yeah,
be good.
just-
That would
yeah.
be good. Yeah, but definitely like gumbo is the Christmas. That is like if you want that or etouffee. If
Yeah.
you want me to get me in the mood for like
Etouffee.
Christmas tree, all that stuff out, get some shrimp etouffee.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that gets me is on a low country boil. If you're from Mississippi area, you guys use Zatarans, right?
We just do crab boil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so if you're from New England or Maryland, you use Old Bay.
Mm.
So it's funny to see the Zatarans versus.
I think I have some old Bay in my pantry that's been there for
It's
years.
nasty now.
It expired like 12
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, because I.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, we're so glad you decided to join it. We invited you to come join us. So that you didn't just go, I'm going to show up at this place at this time. But we had 2 podcasts ago, we actually had your husband on for his episode. I think it was like episode 36 or something like that. And we heard a lot of feedback of how people were interested in his story and all that, like you guys have walked through. But some of the feedback we heard is, hey, we want to hear from his wife, her side of the story of what she experienced. And so, hey, this is your opportunity to, set the record straight, or
I can correct all.
if he said anything that was,
We're gonna play
mischaracteristic.
snippets, yeah. And you get to react.
and I get to react. That's wrong.
That's not how that happens.
That is not correct. And we get you in person. Like he
voice.
Zoom.
zoomed in. He zoomed in.
Yes.
Now, which I do live a good spell
Yeah.
away, but we get you in person, which I see that as an upgrade. So
There you go.
there we go. So
And apparently, I'm the first woman.
on the podcast, absolutely. So you
And that's Randy's seat.
Yeah.
are.
So this is a huge upgrade.
Yeah. We are shattering all kinds of records tonight. Absolutely. Well, Jamie, we'd love for you, and I know our listeners would love for you to just share your story. Kind of starting back where one of the things that Charlie dove off into is, there was that point in time. And I would like to recommend to our listeners, if you haven't watched Charlie's episode, we're going to put a picture of it up on the screen. But be sure to go check it out. That way, you're not lost on any part of this story. But Charlie talked about how, you guys were all in the Jehovah's Witnesses. Did you grow up in it? I know he did, but did you?
I did as well,
Okay.
but I wasn't as all in as Charlie was.
Okay.
I really intended on just kind of
Coasting.
coasting out, as you graduate high school and become an adult and all of that.
Let's say, what was your exit strategy?
Just to,
slowly disappear.
slowly disappear.
Hey, didn't we used to have someone else here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Randy has slowly disappeared. Actually, he's on a work trip, but he has slowly disappeared.
We miss you if you're watching, Randy.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it was just sort of, I wanted to stay close enough that I didn't get the shunning, because Charlie got that really bad.
Mm.
My family wasn't quite that into that part of it at the time. My mom would never shun me. Now, does she not necessarily talk to me as much? Yeah, but she doesn't shun me like his parents did. His were like, I don't want to have anything to do with you unless you come back.
Mm.
So my plan was just to kind of, just stop going to the meetings, is what they call it, instead of church, and, stop feeling like I had to go door to door and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. So when he left, did you see that as that was your opportunity, or?
No, because when we got married, then he's all in.
Okay.
Then in order to keep things cohesive, I had to kind of go that way too.
You had to be all in too, to some
Yeah.
extent, or at least have the appearance of being
Right.
all in.
Yeah. There were some things that I did that he was probably like, "What are you doing? That's not allowed." Like, put Drew in baseball and all kinds of things like that. That wouldn't have been allowed.
You weren't allowed to do recreational sports?
No, that's getting too
Oh.
friendly with the world.
Think about how much time you would have back.
My
if,
gosh, I would have been on time today.
You're like, I could sleep at night.
Oh my gosh.
Don't go too far
Don't
down
go
that road.
home and say no more sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of did things like that, sort of like, and tell him about it later.
Mm.
But I did have to kind of assimilate and go in further than what I wanted to. And that sort of changes, you start to have to think that way.
Mm.
So
Did that have any effect on you, or kind of the way, because there's a lot of pressure there of like, hey, I've got to look a certain way. I got to.
yeah, but God didn't make me that way.
Mm.
Really. When I think back on it, he didn't make me to be conformative
Okay.
necessarily. So I still kind of did some things the way I wanted to do things, and I just didn't let anybody else know it.
Just did it the Jamie way.
Just did it the Jamie way.
Just did it the Jamie way.
Yeah.
So,
And well, I mean, so was that because you didn't think that the rules were reasonable, or
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't think it was any of their business.
Okay.
you're like, I want to live my life.
Yeah, and it's because of the different households that we grew up in. Charlie's household was, you confess everything, you tell everybody everything, and I grew up in a household where it was just my mom, me, and my just older brother, and so she had to be independent. She couldn't, and we lived far away from the Kingdom Hall, so we didn't always go, and she had to do things on her own.
Mm.
And so that's how I grew up, to be able to do things by myself. I didn't need anybody else's opinion on the matter.
Oh, wow. So I'd love for you to start the story. So kind of what led up, because you said that you weren't as completely all in as Charlie. So what how did you originally get into the witnesses? How did your family get involved with that? And kind of start the story there. And let's walk through, there's different touch points that Charlie made of, hey, there was the time when Charlie got that question at the door and it made things begin to unravel for him. And then, he comes home and then kind of take us through that journey of kind of how we got there. He talked about how you kind of went down the atheist road as he was going down the agnostic road, and kind of take us down that journey for a little bit.
Okay. Um, so my mom became a witness, I think 74, 75-ish. So I would have been 4 years old. Um, and I think the reason she did was because it gave her something to believe in for her son that had just recently passed away.
Mm.
And, she had some guilt about that, and it just gave her something, it filled a need for her, with thinking that, they could be back in paradise together. Um, and so grew up as a witness. Like I said, we didn't always go to the meetings, because we lived far away when we were in Louisiana. We lived, it was a good 45 minutes to an hour, which is what I drive now to church. But back then it was a long ways. And so we didn't always necessarily have a um, connection with the church, um, where people were further away, and we lived with our family in Louisiana, everybody around you's family. And so um, then we moved back to Texas. And since we were closer to a Kingdom Hall then we started going on a regular basis and started to build. We also had family there too, um, which kind of, made it more of a cohesive fit, um, and gave more reason not to be able to just pull away and leave.
You couldn't really hide in the distance. You couldn't
Yeah.
really,
Yeah, they kind of knew what you were doing.
yeah. They could
And
keep a check on you.
yeah, sometimes they do what you were doing anyway. Um, but then, me and Charlie met and we got married and had kids. And so, like I said, he was more all in than I was, but I had to go down that path. So, got more deep into it. And growing up a witness, women don't really have they don't have a position. You can't give what they call a talk or a sermon on stage. You can't, at that time you had to wear a dress and all these different things. A lot of those things are not me. I'm not the dress wearing person, but I had to wear a dress. So, um, I guess then when Charlie got started searching outside of the witnesses, and when I ended up finding out about it, he didn't tell me about it
Mm.
until he'd already given his life to Christ.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
Surprise.
hello. And I mean, that's when we really started having trouble because he didn't tell me.
Mm.
And it was about him not telling me. We could have gone down that road together, but he did it by himself.
That's crazy to hear the different perspectives.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow.
So if he would have, just an honest question, if he would have told you, is that something you would have been open to, or at that point in time in your life?
I probably would have given some pushback,
Okay.
but not nearly as much pushback. If you push me, or if you tell me I have to do something, I'm not gonna do it.
I'm the same
If you
way.
tell me I can't do something, guess what I'm doing?
You're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Yeah.
But so he went on that whole journey on his own. You had no idea.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Wow.
And after hearing his story, like what brings to my mind is, he was in that mindset of trying to discover and figure it out of like, what does this even mean? What does this even look like?
Yeah. And so it took me a minute. And then I was kind of like, I really wasn't going to stay in this to begin
You're
with.
like, I had an exit strategy.
Right?
We had a plan.
I had a plan.
You had a plan.
You have now messed
did
up
he
my
know the
said
plan,
plan.
though?
No, he didn't.
Okay, so this is crazy. You got both sides going here. He did not know my
No.
plan
He did not know the plan.
because he was all in.
Right.
So, and then he went all in with Christianity.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So then it's like, okay, well, now I can pull out of this.
This is by
That's
chance.
easy.
One problem solved.
Yeah. But I didn't want to get involved in anything else because I didn't see none of anything else made sense. I didn't need to do any research.
Mm.
None of the other stuff made sense. But I didn't want to go Christianity because that's what Jehovah's Witnesses say they are.
You said, I'm not getting back into that.
So I'm just not going with any of it. So it started off, I'm just going to be agnostic. I just kind of, made that decision in my head. Not necessarily believing there's not a God, but
Yeah.
he's not involved.
So maybe I switched them. So he went atheist and you went agnostic?
No, I ended up going down that
Okay.
atheist.
You're at the beginning of the
At
trail.
the beginning of the trail.
We're at
Yeah.
the beginning of
Continue.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so as I get further into that, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just converted into atheism. That, okay, it's just survival of the fittest. I think it's kind of like going along with what everybody else. And when you leave like a high control group like that, I think you tend to go from one end to the other.
Kind of an overcorrection kind of deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I did. I went, well, let's get away from all of that and go to the farthest, as far as away from that as we can get, and say that I'm atheist. And okay, so we did that. And along the way, I kind of swiveled back down and settled into what I really believe. Because being an atheist, it requires a belief.
Oh, yeah.
A belief in something. Whether it be we're in charge of our own life and it all just falls together, or survival of the fittest. And that's kind of where I went, is, okay, it's just survival of the fittest. And, I mean, in actuality, if it is atheism, there's no God, doesn't it really have to be survival of the fittest?
So then you were back into that. I'm just going to take care of myself.
Yeah. It's just me
against the world.
against the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That got tiring.
I stayed there for a while, and then a friend of mine from high school, his son, I kind of got re-engaged with him and his family before his son actually got sick. And when Kaysen got sick, it was devastating, because you watch a beautiful child, and this could have happened to my child, but it was someone else's. And you watch them go from happy-go-lucky, running around, playing, all the things, to not being able to do anything. Nothing. Can't see. I mean, really, the only thing he could do was hear.
Mm-hmm.
He could hear you, and he could smile. And I think, that's what got me, was the smile. He was always smiling. Even in this condition that he was in, he was always smiling.
His spirit didn't
Always
change.
happy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's a parent's worst nightmare.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. And I mean, and it didn't take that long for him to go from one to the other. And that was what put me on a search, because I could not reconcile the survival of the fittest anymore. I mean, he was fine. He was perfect. And now he's not. How do
No
you,
cause and effect. Yeah.
how do you put that together in your head? And I just couldn't do it. And his mother, his grandmother actually had him baptized, with me as his godmother, being atheist.
That's interesting.
Yes, I
Right?
remember Charlie mentioning that.
How does that happen?
Yeah.
Because you have to believe you believe in something.
Yeah.
And even though it wasn't adding up in my head, that was the proof that I believed in something,
Yeah.
that this should not happen to this child. It doesn't make sense. And so he really, in my eyes, became like an angel. He could have been, for all we know. He could
Could
have been
be.
an angel on earth. I don't know. But that's what got me into, I needed to research this. I was like, okay,
I need to give this a shot.
I've got to give this a shot because it just doesn't make sense. I've got to make it make sense in my head.
So were you unable, just trying to get inside your thought process here, were you unable to just rectify that, the coldness and cruelty of, hey, if really we're just living here, and when you get done living here, there's just no more. Like you're here, you're gone, right? It was that cruelty of, hey, you've got this child that is in your eyes like perfect. Like this is
Mhm.
this like and just the sheer fact that they're dealing with this. They're dealing with this ailment. They're dealing with this, hey, this debilitating sickness. And you just couldn't rectify that.
I literally asked myself, do I want to be that person? Is that who I want to be,
To believe that.
to believe that? And I was like, that's not who that's not who I am. I can't. I can't be that person to say it's fine. Really you're saying, oh, that's fine because
It's
he
fine.
wasn't meant
It's fine that
he
you're
wasn't
sick.
meant to survive.
Yeah,
So
it's the circle of life.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do that.
But so then was God part of the search for comfort, for understanding, for
It started out researching angels.
really?
Yeah.
Wow. And why angels?
Because to me, if anyone was going to be an angel, he was it.
Wow.
I find this so
That is
compelling.
powerful.
I find this so compelling because I've been reading this book here lately, and I'll put it up on the screen because I think it's a phenomenal resource if someone is in that spot that you were in. And because I agree with you 100% that even atheists believe something, right? And it's a book by Frank Turek and Norman Geisler, but it's called "I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist." And in that book, he goes through, and he's a scientist, so he goes through from a scientific
The
perspective.
titles, I just got it. I don't have enough faith.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's perfectly applicable
Right?
because he talks about, he uses creation and he uses all these different things of even for an atheist. And he makes the claim, I don't have enough faith to be an atheist because how did all this happen by happenstance, right? How did we get here?
You shook it up in a jar and it just
And it
appeared.
came out like this? Like, what are the odds of that? And so he goes through from a scientific perspective and all these different things. Phenomenal read. So I'll throw it up here for our listeners to if they want to check that out. But I find your story so interesting because I've heard people say, hey, I don't believe in God because there is sickness. How could a good God let that happen? There's people that take that perspective. But for you, it was actually the other way around of this child. There has to be meaning here. There has to be that this child has to have a meaning to their life. And you didn't want to be that person to say that they didn't.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be that person.
Well, it sounds like you were the meaning to his life too. That changed the course of your life.
It did.
So
Absolutely.
that is unbelievable. In a fear that the child was part of life, it transformed you
Yeah.
and your marriage and your relationship.
What if it had been my child?
Mm.
Would I have gone down that
The
road
other
of
route.
being angry?
I don't
And
know.
God kind of worked it out. That I would get involved with this family again from high school. Not talked in years.
Wow.
And then this happened. It's like, that's just mind blowing to me.
Yeah. So you're researching, you're looking up angels, trying to figure all this out. Walk us through kind of what happens next.
Well, Charlie doesn't even know that I'm doing this research because he left me out. So
This
I'm
is
leaving him
hilarious.
out.
So
We're
this
gonna
all
have to
well,
break down all of
well,
the
and just to
things.
put your
Right.
well, and just to put your story side by side here, like he said in his story during this time, one, and feel free to speak into this. He said that there was a point in time where like y'all had separated,
Mhm.
and like, hey, you're going down this road, I'm going down this road. And I'd love for us to talk a little bit about that. But also during this time, so while you're researching and you're going out, he is actively praying
Mhm.
because he talked about that moment on the dock
Yeah.
where he's actively praying, God, please get her to this point. I'm giving this to you. And he said
Yeah.
he said when he finally gave it to you is when gave it to him. Let's get this correct here.
Right.
When he finally gave it to the Lord, that
Now
you
we know
came
why,
around.
because she won't do it if you ask her to do it. We totally get it
Exactly.
now.
The Lord had to.
So it wasn't Charlie's job the whole time. It was
No,
God.
no.
No.
But that is so funny. Your personality and his and what it was required to get you there is
Yeah.
God knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Unbelievable.
So yeah. Yeah, he's going to church this entire time. He's going every Sunday.
And
He's
so you're
going every-
watching him go,
I'm
and
watching him go. Sometimes I would go with him.
really?
Sometimes. I mean, I went with when he got baptized, I went.
Oh, cool.
Because that was, he's my husband. I should support him in that way.
This is his thing. This is what he
Yeah.
wants to do.
Yeah.
But when you're at the baptism, what were you thinking?
Well, along the way of going through that, I see him before he actually gives his life to Christ. I do see him get involved in some things that are just as cultish. So
He talked about like the Satanic Bible and all these different things that he was researching
yeah.
leading up into this.
And so I'm just like, okay, I warned you. I mean, because I had warned him. I said, that seems like what we just came out of.
I don't want to go. I'm not going back to
I'm not
that.
going back to that. And so, yeah, I'm just, I just went because I felt like that's what I should do. Him being my husband, I should
Yeah.
go. I should support him, whether I believe in it or not.
Mm.
So he's going to church all this time, and I'm seeing him go. He's asking me to go, but he's not pushing me to go. And I just start to see, because he has some anger issues and things, and I start to see that change because, I can do some things that can make him angry on purpose, especially at this time.
Sounds like
you know.
marriage. Just
Yeah,
marriage
that's
in general.
marriage in general.
Yeah.
I let the trash overflow, and he
Yeah.
hates that. So, yeah.
You
And-
know each other's pet peeves.
Right?
Exactly which button to push
Yeah.
when.
Yep.
I get it.
So, but things, he's just changing. He is still accepting me, even though I won't, he had the divorce papers around. I won't sign them. I'm not doing it. I don't want to. I'm not going to tell you why. I just don't want to. But he's still being loving. He's still in the house. He's still, he made more money. He's still paying bills. He's not leaving. He's still supporting the kids. He's still doing those things, even better than he was before.
Wow.
So at one point, I'm not able to put this together with Kason, and our marriage is, I think it's done and over. And just one night, I'm like, there's nowhere else to go. Let's just ask him about his faith. And that's what I did. Just tell me about your faith. And we were like downstairs because I was sleeping downstairs. He was sleeping upstairs.
Mhm.
And he comes down and, like he said, neither one of us remember anything he said except that he doesn't want anything from you. But to choose him, that's it. Just choose him.
Yeah, that was powerful.
And of course, coming from where we came from, that was just unheard of. And I knew. That's why I didn't go down these other paths. I already knew. They want this, they want that. You have to go, all these things, hoops you have to jump through, and being a witness, all these things I had to jump through wearing a dress.
Who wants to do that?
Who wants to do that? But all kinds of other things, going out in service, and those were all just things checking a box to make some people happy, to make them think that you're doing things for the right reason. When I wasn't. I was doing it to keep you off my back. I wasn't doing it because I love Jesus. It was just to keep you from hounding me and bothering me and pushing me. I don't like to be pushed. So, and he, like I said, we don't remember what else he said but that. He doesn't need anything from you.
So when you walked out of that conversation, that thought process of Jesus doesn't need anything from you. That this is the relationship with God is so top down. It's different than any other religion in the world in the sense of, every other belief, every other system is all about what you bring to your deity, right? Whereas following Jesus, and I said this a few podcasts ago, someone might listen to this go, aha, I got you. Don't you have like the laws? Don't you have like the 10 commandments? Don't you like, Josh, you talk about like giving him your life. That seems like a lot, right? No, you do that out of the overflow of what God's done for you.
Right.
You do that because you want to do that. And so what I mean when I say it's top down is you've got a God that literally sent his son to die on this earth. There's historical records that are not even Christian that recognize that Jesus was here, right? He rocked the Roman Empire in the world at that time. And so you've got this creator that came to earth, died on a cross, was seen by over 500 people afterwards, right? Which, how do you get 500 people to coordinate on something, right? Like if that was made up, I can't even get 3 people to get, like, if I got like me, Andy, and Randy's probably going to screw this up and like blurt out.
We don't agree.
We don't like, hey, we're going to get this story, guys. Like Randy's going to mess it up.
This is how big the fish was.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell everyone Randy's like, it's like this big. But you got all these people corroborating this story. Not to mention, you've got like these disciples that give their life for this story, where all they had to say to not be martyred was this was made up.
Right.
And so you've got this guy that's done everything to get to you. And all he asks is that you just say, hey, I'm going to follow you.
Mm-hmm.
And all those laws, all those things, all those like those morals that we put in place, all that stuff is because we recognize, oh my gosh, my God died for me.
Right.
And so with all that, you're realizing all of this, I'm assuming in this moment for the very first time.
It really happened over that night. It was as if my asking Charlie about his faith was an invitation for Jesus to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And to say, okay, you've invited me. Now I'm going to show you.
You've opened that door.
You've opened the door. I'm going to show you now. So that night when I went to sleep, I literally it was as if I was asleep, but not, and dreaming at the same time. It was crazy. I would wake up and it was like he was like, you ever had moments where you're just infused with information? Like, this is what you thought things were, but no, this is how it really is. Like about beliefs. Like the Trinity. Never believed in the Trinity. They're 3 separate things, and the Holy Spirit's not even a person.
That's not something that the witnesses teach.
No. And so he's like, this is what you thought. This is what you were taught. But this is how it really is. Whoa. I'd wake up and like, oh my gosh. And I know Charlie doesn't remember this part because I was texting him in the middle of the night.
Like questions?
Like, whoa, I just realized, or
oh my gosh.
aha moments. Aha moments
Wow.
in the middle of the night. And they were over and over and over again. And then it's like, I can't deny it now. I've fallen asleep in the arms of Jesus, and he's been information in my head all night long. And then the next morning when I get up, I'm like, it's been decided. It's been decided. I am done with all of this. I choose Jesus. And Charlie said, that's all I have to do. That's all I have to do. Of course, you do more out of want, but
Yeah.
that was it. And I went to him and I said, this is what's changed. You asked me what changed because he'd been asking to get together, like you said, get back together. And I kept saying, no, 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 no. And it's like, I'm ready now.
Now,
And this is
now
what's
you want
changed.
to.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because we may have someone that's listening that might be where you were, where they're like, "Hey, I don't think this thing's real," or wherever, on that
Mhm.
scale, pendulum swing where you were. What would you say? And I didn't prep you for this. What would you say to that person about Jesus? What would you say if they're thinking, "Hey, I'm thinking about taking that leap, but I'm not certain."
What's it going to hurt you? What do you have to lose?
That's so good.
You can always change your mind, right?
Yeah.
So why not? At least give it a try. Give it at least study about it.
Yeah.
I mean, come to your own decision and don't listen to all the other stuff going on around you. You know, look it up, research it yourself. I mean, I really love the book Case for Christ because that's what he did. He wasn't meaning to. I mean, he wasn't meaning to become Christian, but he was researching it to try and figure it out.
That's good. We'll put that one on the screen too.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that book.
It's, I had someone say to me one time, and they were talking to that same process for someone who believes in God versus someone who doesn't. And it was, well, what if I'm wrong? If me as a believer, if I'm wrong, well, I lived a pretty good life because of Jesus, because of Jesus, he kept my marriage from falling apart. He kept me from, stepping into stupid. He kept me out of trouble. And I guess I get put in the dirt just like everyone else and all is well, I guess. Right.
But what if you're right?
But if I'm right and the atheist is wrong, that's a whole nother
That's a whole
thing.
nother story. Yeah.
That's a whole nother story. And so I love that. I love, what you got to lose.
Yeah. I mean, you owe it to yourself. Don't you? Don't you owe it to yourself? You research going out and buying a phone.
People research restaurants before they even go and eat at them.
But you don't even consider researching something that could be eternity.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And one of the things that, back to the book that I mentioned earlier, the Turek book, one of the cases he makes is, if you're really going to look at this thing which science, and I wholeheartedly believe this, science is not an enemy of God.
No.
In fact, science has never proved that he's not there, right? In fact, I would dare say it's never without a doubt proved that he is, but I'd say there's a lot of evidence. And that's one thing he talks about in the book. There's more evidence that he's there than he's not.
Yeah. What's the preponderance of the evidence?
Well, the thing is that the point that he makes is, if you're really going to look at this scientifically, if you really want to be true to it, science looks at situations and say all possibilities are on the table. You're not doing a true scientific. Who thought we would talk about science on this podcast? But you don't really do science justice, and you're not really looking at this scientifically. If you go, well, it can be any of these options, but not this one.
That one. Yeah, you can't leave something off the table. That's not a true study.
Absolutely, that's so good. That's so good. So we'll ask. I'm gonna ask you this question, and then we'll take a quick break, and then we'll have you for our Bible study.
Okay.
But what has your life been since? What's it been like?
It is completely turned around. I mean, we're back together. We've been married 36 years.
Wow.
We're better than we ever were before. Now we talk. We don't me go my way and go his way and not tell each other
So
anymore.
you're saying you're not stubborn anymore?
No, I'm not saying that. I just say we tell each other.
Yeah, we communicate.
We communicate things.
Yeah. And and I do things now that I would have never seen myself doing. I mean, in the church and outside the church. And I don't do them because anybody tells me I have to do this. I do it because I want to. And it gives me joy to do it.
So it's not a burden.
It's not a burden at all.
And it's not required.
And it's not required at all.
Right.
I can step back away from it anytime I want to.
But you want to.
But I want to.
Yeah. That's a point we've been trying to get across for a while. That's just incredible.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and even outside the church, serving at the different places that Charlie and I serve, outside of church, we serve at a house for women that have been trafficked, and those are things that we just. We're going and mowing their lawn, and we enjoy it because we are able to give something to those people that need it. And that's what Jesus is about.
And I love how full circle this is because it goes back to, Cason of life has meaning.
Yeah.
In all life.
It's valuable.
It's valuable. Wow.
I mean, God had a plan that whole time.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible to see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to take a short break. If you've enjoyed this story and you've enjoyed stories like Jamie's, be sure to subscribe. Click that little bell at the top corner, or however it is, or whatever method you're on. We're not full scientific here, but give us a subscribe. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Jamie for the Bible study. We'll see you in just a second. Hey guys, Josh here. While we're on a break, I just wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. One, we hope you're enjoying the podcast, but just so you know, this thing doesn't happen by accident. We've got a whole team of people that are behind the scenes that give each and every month that make Woodsman Ministries happen. And Woodsman Ministries is not just the podcast. We've got a weekly ministry that happens at lakes, at rivers, at all the waterways, where we're reaching out to men to connect them to Jesus through a love of the outdoors. And so if you already give to Woodsman, thank you so much. We could not do this without you. If you're sitting here going, man, I want to give, I want to be a part of that. Well, hey, we'd love for you to be a part of it too. All you have to do is go to woodsmanministries.com. There you can click your frequency of how often you want to give. There is no minimum or maximum gift. We'd love to have you on our team. Let's get back to the conversation. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back from the break. Jamie? You're still here with us?
I'm still here.
She didn't flee.
You said that weird.
Well, she is hanging out with us.
That's true.
Tonight. So we are actually, you get to help us wrap up Philippians chapter 2 tonight.
Nice.
So just as a recap, last week we went through this, and what's happened is Paul is in prison. Epaphroditus has given him this gift, and Paul, basically the book of Philippians is this letter that he's written back to Philippi to encourage him while he's in prison, since they sent Epaphroditus to encourage him. So it's kind of,
hey, thanks. Take this with you.
hey, thanks. Here's your message to take back to them. But we're glad that you get to be here with us and you have notes.
I have.
You are all right. We might have you replace Randy. Yeah.
I would love to see Randy saved Epaphroditus.
Yeah, right. He would just change it to E.
E.
Yeah.
Mr. E.
Yeah, Timothy and E were just chilling.
Chilling. Hey, that's an old student ministry trick, okay? Or you'd say that phrase, this person with a weird name, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We all know who it is.
Yeah, no one can say it. Ancient Greek words are hard. Okay, so I'll start reading, and then we can talk about it. But starting with verse 19, it says this. It says, I hope in the Lord Jesus to send Timothy to you soon, that I also may be cheered when I receive news about you. I have no one else like him, who will show genuine concern for your welfare, for everyone looks out to their own interests, not those of Jesus Christ. But you know that Timothy has proved himself because he is a son with his father. He has served with me in the work of the gospel. I hope, therefore, to send him as soon as I see how things go with me. And I'm confident in the Lord that I myself will come soon. But I think it is necessary to send back to you Epaphroditus, my brother, co-worker, and fellow soldier, who is also your messenger, whom you sent to take care of my needs. For he longs for all of you and is distressed because you heard he was ill. Indeed, he was ill and almost died, but God had mercy on him, not on him only. That's hard to say. Not on him only, but also on me, to spare me sorrow upon sorrow. Therefore, I am all the more eager to send him, so that when you see him again, you may be glad, and I may have less anxiety. So then, welcome him in the Lord with great joy and honor people like him, because he almost died for the work of Christ. He risked his life to make up for the help you yourselves could not give me. So it sounds like, which we know there's a few more chapters left here, Paul's getting ready to send him back at this point in time in the letter. So what is something there that jumped out at you guys? I'll kind of keep my thoughts for just a second.
I mean, well, in the first verse, he's making it clear that, this is going to be on God's timing, not he's going to wait and let God kind of work this out. He's thinking it's coming soon, but it's on God's timing.
That's hard to do when you're sitting in prison.
Yeah. You kind of want it out now.
Yeah, right now. Like
Right
yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
Well, so you can't help but pick up the word genuine.
Mm-hmm.
So in verse 20, it just drills. It was an issue back then. It's an issue today. It's been an issue the whole time.
That.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, is it in your notes?
Yes.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry. But that really just sticks out to me, because as humans, we tend to look out for ourselves and solely for ourselves. And for him to say, hey, Timothy's proven that he's genuine. He's seeking God. And as part of that, he genuinely cares about each and every one of you. So I trust him, and you should trust him as well as my brother. Yeah. And that really sticks out to me, because that shows someone seeking after God's heart. And it's made a difference on Paul. And then I love how Paul is extremely confident throughout this that, I'll be there soon. Just God will get me out of this mess. So that's the other thing that sticks out to me in that whole. Yeah. Is that in your notes too?
I'd love not
okay.
Quite. but as a thought here, and I just love to go down this road here for a second. I love that focus on genuine, right? Because think about today, okay? How much damage can is it ungenuine, ingenuine? What's the correct? Disingenuine?
You're looking at me like
I don't know. Well, that word. A non-genuine. Okay.
Disingenuous, maybe?
Disingenuous. How much damage can like a disingenuous Christian cause? Right? Like, think about the amount of people that have walked away from God.
I mean, they call themselves Christian, and that's why neither one of me or Charlie wanted anything to do with Christianity to begin with.
Absolutely. It's like, hey, we're Christian, but you don't get to have a say. We get all these different things. They don't believe that, that Jesus is God. Right. And so when you've got that kind of, when you do all these things, this is why, when you see a politician that says, hey, I'm a Christian, I always get like the EBGBs, because I'm like, okay, if you're genuine, that's great. Absolutely. Fantastic. But if you're just using it to platform yourself, and you're going to do that under the banner of Jesus, like that can cause so much damage. But on the flip side of that, if you've got a genuine Christian, how much healing can they bring?
So I'm in meetings all the time, and we discuss different leadership traits, but genuine is the one thing that separates most major leaders from others. And what really sticks out to me is when you have a leader that says they're looking for the team, looking out for the team, and, understand the best interests of the team, and they'll defer to the team, they'll sacrifice for the team, but then they don't. And so the funny thing is that I can hear their voice change. Sometimes they'll have a head turn where, it's not genuine.
Right.
Like, it's just incredible. They're trying so hard to depict themselves as something greater than they are, to try to depict that they're genuine, but it's showing that truly they aren't.
Well, and
So to find someone that's truly genuine.
think about Jesus in the Gospels when, he's getting ready to go to the cross and the disciples are sitting at the table. And they lived in a society where, you couldn't call an Uber to come pick you up. Like, you had to walk everywhere.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you've seen dirty, nasty, sandy roads and all this kind of stuff. Like, they're sandals, right? And if you can imagine something being gross and being on that road, it was there, right? Like animals walking up and down the roads, so on and so forth.
Animal droppings.
Animal
Yeah.
droppings. If you ever walk behind a horse for 5 minutes.
Oh,
And Jesus, the God of the universe, starts washing feet.
Yeah.
right.
It wasn't a selfie moment.
No.
That was I know from you see the response of the disciples of, what are you doing?
Mhm.
I have seen paintings of that moment.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. The selfie moment.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
their version.
I mean,
of a
I've seen
picture.
paintings of it too, but it wasn't a true selfie.
So
But
to lead, you must first serve, and he was the ultimate leader. He served not only his disciples but everyone.
Everybody.
yeah.
Mm.
And you got this guy, he is the leader of the universe,
Mhm.
right? We talked about a few podcasts ago that when he was on the cross, he could have called 10 legions of angels to come and destroy the earth,
Which would have been cool.
which would have
That
been
would have been
made a cool movie, but it wouldn't have been cool for us experiencing that.
Well, we might not be here.
We
Right.
most definitely would not be here. But you've got that kind of God, and he's kneeling down and he's washing feet like that's when you see, and we talk about, genuine versus whatever that word is. Someone will correct us someone comment on the podcast and teach me words. Okay. I'm from South Mississippi. But we're definitely not at the bottom of the education
Disingenuine?
scale. Disingenuine.
I don't know. Now you got me.
Okay. We're getting distracted. But so, but you really see the difference there when things get hard. Like when you start seeing struggles. And then that, being a Christian wasn't as it's not as selfie worthy in that moment in time. And so I just find that interesting. And I love that, you get into verse 21. And I think this is it's funny. We still deal with this stuff today, right?
Mhm.
For everyone looks out after their own interest and not those of Jesus Christ. He's writing back to the church
Mhm.
on this.
It's like, it's kind of like this one, he's genuine,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe some of all the other people that, are they really looking out
Yeah.
for Jesus' interests or their own?
Yeah. For someone coming into Christianity and going, I want to be a good one, right? Like I want to, you go a long way just being real.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you hear someone like brag on someone else and their faith, it's usually centered around, I just had this thought, I didn't even think about this earlier today. It's usually centered around, hey, how authentic are they? Do they walk what they say? Me, it's a little convicting too.
Well,
Yeah,
humility is a
definitely.
big part of
Yeah.
being genuine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And humility is not thinking, I heard someone say this before, humility is not thinking less of yourself.
It's thinking
It's not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny you change the words.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's so true, right? Like how different of a place. And that's kind of the part of the point of the podcast is we have two sides of this podcast. We want to really encourage people who are not believers to, hey, become believers because look, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think collectively we can say that around this table, right?
Absolutely.
It's the best thing that ever happened to us. But at the same time, it's also encouraging those who are believers, hey, step into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Step into this fight. It'll change your life.
Right. I mean, you may be out there on the field, maybe sitting on the sideline. Get in the game
Yeah.
because there's nothing bad that I have experienced out of it.
Yeah.
Let's get in the game.
That's a huge testimony. And that's not to say that you've never encountered people
Right.
who were not great. But at the same time, but the thing I can say, and I've had the same, right? I've had the same experiences where I've had people that said they were believers, said they were Christians, and the rest of their life didn't look like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't treat people like that, certainly. But at the same time, as far as God himself, every struggle, every pain that I've ever went through, every moment when I laid in my bed at night and I looked up at God and I said, God, why would you do this? Okay. And I may not have had clarity in that moment of why, But every time that that's happened in the past, I look back on that now and I go, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is what you were doing.
Yep.
You were teaching me something. You were growing me, and it was for my good. It
Mhm.
wasn't for my bad. And so because I can look back and do that, now when looking forward, when I face troubles or struggles, and you will, the Bible says you will, when you do, Paul, for goodness sakes, Paul's in prison writing
Mhm.
this, right? You're able to look ahead. And I love that verse 24 says this, I am confident in the Lord. We're able to have that confidence because of what we've experienced in the past.
Mhm.
In jail. I'm
In jail.
confident.
I'm
Yeah.
confident in jail. I would probably be a baby in jail, but he is confident in jail.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I'll come visit you
Why am I going to jail now?
to try it out.
Oh, to try it out. Okay. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
tell that to the arresting officer.
No, but we're not doing modern. We're going back.
back in the day.
Oh, ancient jail.
Yeah.
I think that's just called like a dungeon. Yeah,
Right.
that's like some Silence of the Lamb stuff going on here.
Yeah, but he's like,
Mhm.
hey, I'm in jail. Hey, I'll be there soon. I'm confident. God will get me out of this.
It puts the lotion on the skin.
Oh boy. Don't start with the accent.
But the thing is too, and I'd love for us to wrap up with this thought here. Paul talks about verse 27, sorrow upon sorrow. And he says he says in verse 28 that I may have less anxiety. The thing I love about scripture is it shows people in their realest form.
Yep.
It doesn't try to whitewash anybody. It doesn't try to clean them up. It doesn't try to Paul was dealing with anxiety
Mhm.
about this. He almost lost Epaphroditus
Right.
and it was weighing on him.
Mhm.
Mhm.
If I were making this up and I was writing this book and I was going to fool the world with it, right? Back to the atheism talk earlier. If this was the biggest hoax that ever happened, right? I would have left some of this stuff out.
Right.
Mhm. And when you look back in history, isn't that what ancient civilizations did?
Mhm.
Leave the bad stuff out.
Oh yeah.
It's all the good stuff.
Yeah. Not just ancient civilizations.
Well, yeah,
there's
now-
modern
now.
civilization that does that. But the thing is you get the disciples, you get the good, the bad, and the
Mhm.
ugly. Like there's this show, and I guess I'll put a picture. Since we're putting things on the screen tonight,
It's been a lot.
I've been a lot. It's going to take me 4 hours to edit this thing.
But
But
see 10 minutes.
yeah, my wife can help me with this. But there's this show called The Chosen. And I know it's one of the shows that you guys love. But one of my favorite things about that show, it's going through the Gospels. One of my favorite things about that show is it shows the disciples as they really are.
Yeah.
And the show's called The Chosen. So the main character are the disciples, right? And so you get to see their worries, their anxiety, like those moments. And I love, they put this in the very beginning of The Chosen where they say, hey, this is not a step-by-step biblical narrative.
Right.
Like we fill in some gaps, but we do our best when we fill in those gaps because scripture's written like this moment to that moment to that moment. It's not written like a novel, right? But the thing I love about that story is it shows the disciples sometimes as idiots.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that in scripture, right? Like they're not this super clean, put together like this statue of Peter, right? And that's not how they were. They were human beings.
Yeah, we're watching the show thinking, because 2020 is not, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
So we're looking and we're going, why? Why are you doing that? Why did you do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's in the moment.
But it goes to
And
show,
we did the same thing.
it goes to show, hey, if Jesus can use these guys
Mm-hmm.
and ladies, there were women in there too.
Mhm.
If Jesus can use these imperfect people, it makes you pause and go, well, maybe he can use me. And just like you said in your story, and I think we can end on this, like you said in your story of, God doesn't need anything from you.
Yep.
I met with a guy today about baptism. He's one of our woodsman guys, and he said, hey, give me a list of things to do so I can get baptized. I said, there's only one thing on that list, and that's follow Jesus.
Wow.
You follow him. Well, what about my cigarette? He didn't say this, but the same thought, what about my cigarettes? What about my pornography? What about all these things, right? Let Jesus in. He'll deal with that.
Right.
But
It's not, let's say that everything's going to
absolutely,
like that.
absolutely. Let Jesus in. He'll straighten all that stuff out. You don't have to do anything before you come to him.
Yeah, I don't think smoking will work as you go underwater.
Yeah. You're just trying to work out the details here.
Yeah.
It put the cigarette out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Jamie, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being part of the podcast. Just a programming note. We will not have an episode next week in honor of Thanksgiving. And so enjoy some time. We're going to enjoy time with our families, and I'm going to try to get me some of that gumbo. But we'll see you guys next time. And as always, tell someone about Jesus this week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Words with Woodsman podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. We'll see you next time.